68 matches for the country and scored international goals. Congratulations, sir, for these 12 goals.
Thank you very much.
Okay. He also represented Tamil Nadu for Santosh Trophy from 1994 to 2006. He's a top scorer Santosh Trophy in 1996 and 1999. He represents some clubs like represented Indian Bank Club from 1991 to 2006. In Bangladesh, there's a club called Abahani Club. He represented in 1992 to 2000. Thank you, sir, to give me an opportunity to talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you, Master Samir. Now it's time for which we are here for. Let me now invite the guest of honor, Mr. Syed Pasha.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sabir, sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah, like, is it a question and answer session or a session which we have to go about? How is it going to be, sir?
Sir, you can talk for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will start the question and answers.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here among you all children by Allah's grace. And see, I have been before with the Sana school. Now I am with you. Like the thing among you youngsters is that how you aspire your future. It is like how you carry. It is always a question between what happens nowadays within the parents is how they cope up with their education as well as their sports, and it is always a question mark. And I have always seen that anybody who is a good sportsman can also be an educationist, and it is not at all a question. So I think those who are aspiring to become good sportsmen can also become good students. So there is no question about it. And I also want you all to ask as much as questions as possible. Pour in questions over me. Ask me whatever you would like to, and I will be there to answer it. By Allah's grace, we hope this session goes well. Hello.
Sir. Students can start posting your questions. Those who want to directly.
Sir, which inspired you, sir?
Yeah, Maz, just hold on.
Like inspire you what? Complete your question, please.
Sir, to become a sportsman. Which inspired you?
It was the sports was in our family. Like, see, my father was a sportsman, my uncle was a sportsman, and so that is how we used to speak only about sports in our home. So that is how it took over the sports in us, and from the I think if I remember from the age of 3 or 4, we were on the ground, and we used to do activities on the ground. Once we finish our school, we go to the ground, and that is where we see a lot of people playing on the ground, and that is what the most inspirational figure for us was my father and my uncle, who were sports persons who have taken their career and they built their career through sports. So that is how my career built up.
Hi sir, my question is Ronaldo or Messi? Whom you choose as the best?
See, you cannot compare both. Like for me, if you say both are outstanding players in their own respective things, like what Messi can do, Ronaldo cannot do. What Ronaldo can do, Messi cannot do. If you could have seen the video of Ronaldo, you can see the video of Ronaldo. He made a jump of around 6.8 feet to score a goal. I think you would have seen that video. But I think can you imagine Messi doing it? No chance, because he's around 5.8. So it's very difficult for him to do that feat, to achieve that feat. And the same way, if you ask me, Messi can dribble 5 to 6 people inside the box, which Ronaldo can't do. It's very difficult for him. So there are many reasons why these both should not be compared. And for me, both are the best
sir.
in that area.
Tendulkar.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Shabir sir. These 8th standard boys are just trying to come with questions.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, that's what, like, for me, both are very good in their own respective things. You should never compare. The people compare Pele, they compare Maradona among themselves. And now again, they compare like Messi and Ronaldo. I think you should not compare these people. You should enjoy watching them. Yeah, and if you ask who is the best, both are best for me. Both have achieved their feats. And they
Sir,
have done
Neymar,
wonderful
sir.
in their careers.
Neymar. Sir, who was the competitive player for you, sir?
Can you go one by
Sir,
one?
who was the sir,
Boys,
who was the competitive player that you have
boys, 1 minute. Can you hold
seen,
on?
sir?
Boys, 1 minute. Listen to me, please. If you want to ask questions, put your names on the chat box. We will ask you to talk and we will call you and you can then ask your questions. If anyone wants to ask their questions, put your names on the chat box. We will call you. The host will call you and then you can ask the questions. And if you want to post the questions, you can post it on the chat box. Okay? And please do not disturb the session. Sir will be answering one by one. Okay? Thank you.
So I think we have answered the question about Ronaldo and Messi. I think we can go for the second question now.
Sir, who was the competitive player which you have ever seen, sir? With you.
See, competitive player who has played with me or who I have seen on the TV. What do you mean by?
Sir, who is played with you?
Yeah, like for me, the competitive players were many players in when I was playing. Like whenever I go to the Indian camp, I found some or other new talent coming and challenging me. It is always difficult for me. Like every camp, you have to be on your toes. Like you can see that people can achieve the feat, but to stay on that feat is very difficult. You can achieve the top, but to stay on the top is always difficult. So you have to be at your best. You cannot relax even for a second. If you relax, then you're gone down. So that is the case for us, and there are a lot of competitive people keep on going. But by Allah's grace, we stood there for 10 years. It's just because we were really focused. That is what I want you to see in all your youngsters. That when you achieve something, I have seen nowadays in the younger generations, that when you achieve something, you are happy and you just lose your concentration. That is not how it is. If you want to be a sportsman, if you want to achieve in sports, you have to be focused every time, because there will be some sort of challenge coming behind you. From right side, left side. If you're not strong enough, if you're not focused enough,
हमारा काम खत्म हो गया वास्ते बस
okay.
Which make you to change the career from cricket to football, sir?
Okay, it's a fine question. Like, I didn't change my career, but the career took over. Like, I was continuing my both sports activities similarly. It was going on in one. I am not able to get that cutting which I wanted to send to you people. That in one day it came both. I had in paper. I had both headlines like. I have scored hat trick in football, and I took around 5 wickets in cricket. There were both headlines coming in same page on the same day, and that is how they thought that, because I played that football in the evening and I carried out playing cricket for the school in the morning. So both the names came in the paper on one day. So if you ask me how I took over this career, then it was like in the school you have to, like, in my school, if you say that the academics was more than sports, so less people played sports, so we have to play all the sports. So that is how cricket also took over with me, because I was very much passionate, because in our house, if you come, football only they speak about, because my father was a footballer, my uncle was a footballer. So when the cricket took over when we came into the school, like, and you are not recognized in school if you don't play cricket. That is how it is in Tamil Nadu. So we have to play cricket in order to get recognition. So that is how cricket came into me. And we kept carrying on this for many years simultaneously. I used to represent under 15 state in cricket as well as under 15 state by Allah's grace, even in football. So it carried on. But at one stage when I came to 19 years, then it happened so that I represented in football for the country, and that is where I had to stop cricket. I didn't stop cricket completely, but I have to stop cricket in the way of going to selections. I didn't go to selections.
Shabir sir, by mistake, you got muted. Can you please unmute yourself again? I was muting a student and you got muted. And other students, please keep yourself muted. Shabir sir, you are able to unmute yourself? Yeah, okay, good. So we missed you for a few seconds.
Okay. So when I came to the age of 19, what happened? Like I represented for the country. Like they called me. My selections got into action, and I went into football. I got selected for the national team. I made my debut for the national team. So that is how what happened after that. Since I was playing for the senior national team in football, it was difficult for me to go for selections in cricket. But I didn't stop cricket. I played cricket for second division. If you say 3-4 years before, till then I carried on with the league. But now after coming into coaching, it is difficult for me to continue with the league matches. But I will be very happy to play that because I always miss playing cricket in the league. Hope this answers your question.
Sir, why Indian team
Sir,
not entering to the FIFA Cup, sir?
Sir, what are the challenges that you?
One by one.
Sir, what are the challenges that you faced? Sir, what are the challenges that you faced in your career, sir?
In where? Like in cricket or in football? What are the challenges there? Generally?
On football.
Okay. See, it's always difficult, you know. Like, see what happened. Like we go to the grounds, we practice in the grounds, but it is always difficult. Now, in nowadays, what happened? Like when you go for the selections for under 15, there will be like 2,500 or 3,000 children coming and participating in the selections. So it is always difficult to get into the selections. I under 15, it was difficult for me to make it. Then I cannot represent under football. I represented in cricket under 15, but I cannot represent in football. Then again, I went for under 17 level. I cannot make it because the competition was more. But my quality of football took over so rapidly at the age of 18. Then at the age of 19, by Allah's grace, I represented the state team. Then I went for the Indian camp, but I can't make it for the Indian team. So if you ask me what are the difficult times, these were the difficult times for me, that to get into selections, to get into the team, to focus my impress the selectors. This is also a lesson to the youngsters that never lose heart. I never lost heart. I kept the faith on Allah and I kept going, and I never lost my hope. I kept on participating in the selections. Even then, I was not selected. I kept on playing. I kept on going. I kept on fighting. I believed in my talent. I believed in Allah's grace. I kept on going. And then in under 19, I made it. And then by Allah's grace, after the next year, I got into the national team. That is how my career built up. But if I'd have thought that I'm not getting selected in under 15, I'm not able to get into under 17. If I'd have thought like that, then it would have been my end of my career. And I have to thank my father in that way. Like he was such a holy person. He always used to tell me that if you believe in Allah, keep carrying. I used to tell him, what is happening to me, father? I'm not able to get selected in this. What is going to happen to me in my career? But my father used to always tell me and ask me, if you believe in Allah, if you don't believe in persons, believe in Allah and keep going. If you believe in Allah, if you have faith in Allah, I think you should keep playing. That is what the words he used to give me, and I kept continuing. And by Allah's grace, you can see me where I stand now. Hope this happens.
Sir, one student is asking, sir, why Indian football team not entering in FIFA World Cup by Hafizur Rahman?
Yeah, it's a very common question being asked whenever we reach any sort of a stage. So see, it's not like cricket. Cricket only, I think, around. If you actually say, they say 10 countries, but I will rate it as 6 countries which compete in cricket. But if you take football, it is around 220 countries and more. And it is where it's become so each small country tries to play football. And I don't think any country which is in the planet of our world doesn't play football. Everybody play football. So it is very, very difficult. And what happens is, like the way they approach football, I will tell you if you want to understand, I will tell you in very simple simple line that in India, football is recreation, but in Europe or some other parts of the country, football is life. So it is life and recreation. You should know what happens to recreation, what happens to life. They take it as life. If you go to China, if you go to Brazil, people die there. If the team loses, if the team doesn't qualify for the World Cup, that is how it happens there. It is life for them. For a simple example, if you're taking some course or if you take some subject, that will be your, you will say, I'm favorite in this. I cannot fail in this. That is how it is. But there are some subjects which you say that, no, I don't like this subject. I don't know what happens to it. That is how football is in India. If you take Europe, it is life, and people they are passionate, and when they go and watch the match, you can see on TV how much they are crazy about. And that has to happen in India. When that comes, I think this ISL has come and it has created some sort of an hype. Till now, why sports was being played in order to get settled in life, in order to get some sort of a security, some sort of a money. But in Europe, it is not for money they play. It is like a war. It is like achieving something. That sort of a thing has to come in India, and it is slowly building up. I think Indian Super League has come. You can also see why cricket took up. Cricket was nowhere when till India wins the World Cup in England in 1983. Till then, cricket was nobody. Nobody used to take cricket. But suddenly, once it won, the passion came, the belief came in cricket. I think those things have to come in other sports like football, like kabaddi, or any other thing. I think that passion has to develop in India. Once that passion comes, I think we'll also be one of the contenders. The talent is there, but it's a very big country, and there are so many countries which are small. It's easy to organize for them, but India is too big. But if you can ask a question like Brazil also is too big, sir, why they are making into World Cup, why India is not making? That question also comes to us normally. But in Brazil, in loop and corner, as I told you, it is their life. It is their life. They live for football. And I will give you an example what happened in Asia. Like we went to Iraq when the problem was going on, when Saddam Hussein was there. At that point of time, we went to Iraq to have an exhibition match with Iraq national team. Our coach was there, who was a Russian. He took us there. What happened is, we used to see the whole of Iraq was being bombed, and it was smashed, and wherever we travel, we don't see people living happily. It was very difficult time for them, and we went to play football at that point of time. And what happened? We have to play a match at one place called Najaf, and the district of Najaf has to compete with the national team. In order before we played the national team of Iraq, we played against 4 or 5 matches with some districts. What happened is that we went to the ground to play a match against Najaf, and we were waiting there. Normally, what happens? The time period is given like 1 hour before you have to be in the ground, but we don't find the opponents coming. The Najaf district team never came, and we were waiting. And our coach said, when it became half an hour, the coach said that we will go out. We start warming up. Let the team come or not, we will be professional. Once we see that at a certain point of time the team is not coming, then we will leave. So we went on to the ground. We start warming up. We didn't find anybody. It was hardly 10 minutes to go now. Still, the team has not turned up, Najaf district team. But suddenly we see 1 or 2 people jumping around the wall of the ground. 2 people coming like that, around say 10 to 11 people joined. And they were on one side of the ground. They were just stretching. They're not even warming up. They were just stretching. They didn't have proper socks. They didn't have proper kit. They were wearing some torn boots because they were so poor in Iraq, especially that the players who came. And we were watching them, and the coach was telling us, see, we are representing our country. We don't know I don't care whom we are playing against, but you do your best. You score some 20 goals, 25 goals. I don't worry, but you go finish your match and come out. That is what the answer, the speech when he spoke about, he told us. And then we went into the field. By Allah's grace, I can tell you, the Indian national team never touched the ball for 15 minutes. First 15 minutes, we never touched the ball. They didn't show us the ball. So much of skill they had. They never showed us the ball. They never gave us the ball. They just toyed us. We were running behind them like dogs. And it was so difficult to play against them. They scored in the first half 3 goals to us, and we were losing by 3 goals. In the second half, I don't know what happened. We took over, they got tired, and then it became 3-3. That is how it happened. What I'm about to say is the passion they have. When we asked them what happened after the match, the coach told us, remove all your kit, go and give it to the team and come back. And so we removed everything. Even with our boots, we went, handed over to them, and they were so happy. They cried like anything because they got new jerseys, new shorts, new boots from us, which was given by our national team. We gave it to them, and they were so really happy. And when we asked them, what is happening to you? Like they say, like we don't have any sort of work. Morning we go to mosque, we pray, we come back, we practice, and then we have some we have food, we practice. So hello. So in a day they carry on with like 4 to 5 times they
Hello, what is that?
Abdurrahman sir.
Shabir sir. Shabir sir, you have to unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes sir.
Sir, I have one question, sir. Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, ask me.
Chennai FC played a half season very poor, sir. Next half season, they are practice what you tell, sir. Next half season they have played very well, sir. First half season they have played defeated.
Can I know your name, please?
Yeah, Mohammed Dasik, sir.
Yeah, Sheikh. Ashik, is it?
Dasik.
Yeah, Sheikh. Yeah. It's a very good question. Like, I think you follow Chennai FC. Have you seen all the matches?
Yes, sir.
Good, very good. So you play football.
I have some skills only, sir. I have interest in cricket.
Okay, very good, very good. But even then, you asked a very interesting question, Ashik, because that it was a very difficult season for us. It was going very bad for us in the first half of the season, but in the second half, what happened? We changed the coach, and that coach really changed the whole scenario. How much a coach can play a part, he really showed to us. It was he changed the whole atmosphere inside the dressing room. He mingled with the players. He tried to make the players believe that they can win. And I think our team was talented, but they were not performing. But the talent was brought together. He really, in the practice sessions as well as out on the field and off the field, both places he was really good. And I think from there, from the coach change, and he came and changed the whole scenario. And the real Chennai FC's potential came out, and I think that showed into results.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Ashik. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, here is a question in chat box.
Hello.
Sir, here is a question in chat box.
Yeah, please tell me.
How did you handle both studying and playing at both same time?
See how much time you play. That's the question, and it is just like managing. It is just like managing. That is what I think. I think I should thank my parents. Here, the parents play a very important role. They should teach their child how to manage both. And what happened? Like my father used to travel with us whenever we practiced. He used to see us how the amount of effort we used to put. And I think more parents also will be watching this. If not, I think this thing will be reaching them because what I used to say is that my parent used to travel with us whenever we practice, whenever we play matches, and he sees how much of effort we put and what is required for us. So since he comes and sees us, what happens? He comes to home, he gives us proper rest, and he knows when to force us to study and when not to force us, because the effort we have put on the field, it's very difficult to come back again to study. But he told us how to manage it. And the managing part is very, very important. Like in the early morning, sometimes when we don't have sports to play, he forces us to study. He knows that these boys are fresh now. They can go on with the study. So he kept us forcing at the right time when to study and when to play. And that is where I think at one certain stage he left us, and from there we managed ourselves. That came into us. We came to know when to study, how to study, and whenever we go to tours also, we used to carry our books, and we used to study whenever we get the free time. We never used to waste our time. So what happens? That made us like to pursue our academics as well as football. And I have two sons. They also do the same thing. I also try to do what my father did to us, but it is difficult to do what my father did to us. But even then, I'm trying by Allah's grace, and by God's grace, my both sons are playing, and one is playing in I League. He is playing for Chennai City, and one is playing for Chennai FC in under 18, and both one is doing his engineering in Laila, and one is doing his BCom in Laila. So I think they are also, and I know it's very difficult for them too. Like my son, he has to play for Chennai City, and he goes to Coimbatore and lives there. But what happens, like here is where the parents help. Like we used to go to the college, especially they have to thank their mother, who used to catch hold of their friends, get their notes and send it to them in WhatsApp. And that is where he studies. He comes back and writes exams, and he is in verge of clearing his BCom. He is in his third year, my elder son, and my younger son is in second year engineering. They both are coping up well. I think they are also learning as well as playing. I think if you think in that way, if you can manage that, I think it's really possible. Hello.
How do you encourage your team when they going to defeat?
See, like what happened in a match? It's a very difficult situation. Your team in the first half, you see that your team is down by a goal or 2 goals. You come into a dressing room. That is very, very important. Like what happens, you should not start shouting at them. Like that is where a key role of a coach comes. You have to start encouraging them. You have to say that it is possible. And the way they are playing, they have that skill, they have that talent, and they can go with it. And that belief you have to start transferring into them. And you should say that what you have done in the first half was not bad. You have to say the positives first. You should not go start bashing them and start shouting at them, telling them that you are nowhere, you are not playing good. If you play like this, you everything will go bad. All those words have to cut out. And what you should do is you should be positive enough, put the positive thoughts in them, tell them what good they have done, and you should not say they're bad, but how to cut short that bad and how to curtail that and those things. And you have to be very careful in your speech. It's very very difficult and very important task for a coach in the first half. After the first half, in the dressing room, what you speak is going to reflect on the field, and that is where the real teams display. You can see in the first half the teams will be very dull, but in the second half they show up some aggressiveness, they come back, and I think those words will really work. So you have to be positive. You should cut short your negative things. You should say their positive things. You should say the opponent's weakness, how we can go and tackle them, how we can force them back and get into the victory side. So these are the key things which a coach has to follow. Next.
Sir, how sports person practice during ongoing pandemic? Do they feel depressed?
See what we do is like I also run an academy. What happens when what I recommend to my boys is that you have to, in this pandemic, it's difficult to combine as a team, to come into contact with somebody. This is the real time where you develop your individual skills. Your individual skills has to be developed, where you possess a ball and you start doing activity like the Salam exercise. I think anybody who knows football, they can really understand what I'm telling about. The Salam thing, in between the cones, their individual skills like juggling the ball, all your individuals, your trapping, your control, your kicking the ball, you can develop all those things. I think those are the real ingredients which you have to develop to become a good footballer. If you don't have those things, if you lack in those things, then when you come to combine as a team and play, then it is becoming very difficult. If you don't know how to chip, then you cannot pass the ball. If you don't know how to kick, you cannot score. So those things this is the right time to develop. And you have to concentrate on that. Your trapping, your passing. If you are a cricketer, I think when I used to play cricket, what we used to do when we are alone, when we don't have a team practice, what we do is we used to hang the ball and we used to keep playing it. And I don't know, I even don't remember, we forget how many hours we keep hitting that ball. And those concentrative level, your concentration develops, your contact develops with the ball, you get in intact with the ball. So these things you have to incorporate when you are alone. Your individual things, like what Sachin Tendulkar does. You can see his biography. He says that he spends most of his time individually practicing. He knows, you would have played many matches. You know where you like. Whether your right foot is weak or your left foot is weak, what you have to improve, you know. So you work on that. In this pandemic, individually you have to do things. And that is what I keep telling to my academy boys also.
Sir?
Yeah?
Sir, when you're defeating the final, what is your feeling with your team and you, sir?
What's the name again? Ashik.
Jasik.
Yeah, Ashik. You asked some good questions, Ashik. Good. See that it's a very difficult time, Ashik. losing after coming so far, so close, and losing in the finals in the Indian Super League was really difficult for us. What happened, Ashik? We gave everything because last 8 to 9 matches we have to win each and every match. So what happened that we concentrated so much. Like once we reach final, it is very difficult to keep your team still focused because they thought that we have done because we were lost in the table and suddenly they see themselves into the final. They were so happy and that is where we all as coaches we sat together and we discussed and we discussed one point saying that it is going to be a very difficult match for us because we know that we have entered finals. Our boys are going to relax and to get them into the same grip. It's always difficult. So we know that it's going to be a difficult match, and that reflected in the final match. We know in order to get into that match, it took us around 20 to 25 minutes where we lost the match. You could have seen that match that initially we got around 3-4 chances which we should have scored, and our star striker who was there, he was not able to put that ball into the net. He would have done that, but attitude, it's also it looks simple that we can put the ball into that. It looks very simple, but when it comes to final, it's always difficult. If you're not focused, you can also miss silly chances. That is what happened there. But we woke up after 25 minutes, but it was too late. Till then, the harm was done against us, and it was very difficult for us to come back, and we lost the final. But anyhow, I think we have to give compliment to the players, the way they have worked, the way they have played. But as for your question, I say that it was a very hard feeling for us losing in the finals after coming such a long way.
Sir Narayanan sir is asking, being as a coach, what is your thought on your teacher?
Thought on the teacher? See,
being as a coach, sir.
Yeah. It is two phases in my life. One phase is when I was playing, and the second phase is now as a coach. When I was playing, the simple answer is when I was playing, I used to think only about myself. But now when I am as a coach, I have to think about 30 players, 30 boys whose life are in stake, whose career is in stake, whose whole efforts are in stake. So it is a very, very big task. I thought as a player it's difficult, but only when I became a coach, I came to know that being a coach is really, really difficult. It is not an easy task. You have to get into the minds of all these 30 players. You have to work with them in and out, on the field, off the field. You have to build relations with them. You have to get so closer with them so that you know in and about them. Then only you can bring the performance out of them. So I think being a teacher is really difficult, but also it is very, very satisfying because you mold the players, you make their careers, and it's life at stake, and you build that life. So I think it's really a pleasant thing, but in the same way, it is really, really difficult task ahead for us. Hello.
Sir, hello.
Yes. Yes.
Tayyib, you ask.
Sir, I have a question from Ibzur Rahman sir. Can you list out the health benefit of playing football, both mental and physical?
See, I think football is a complete game, very much a complete game. It works from your hair to your toe. All the parts of the body works. It's not like cricket where only the hand works. In football, everything works. So it is a very good fitness activity game. It is really a very good fitness activity game. What happens is in football, if you want to become a footballer, if you have to play football, what happens is you have to have proper strength, as in the same way you should have proper motor quality. Motor quality means your stamina, your fitness level has to be really good. So I have seen many people, even for fun, they try to play football because they say that it's more satisfying for them, because everyday walking becomes stale for them. So one day when they go and play football, what happens? They give everything in football. So it is enjoying as well as it is for fitness, it is very good. And what happens in football is your heart rate keeps working. You have to run. You can't stop. You cannot watch. So in cricket, what happens? Like if a fielder is there, he fields the ball and he has to stay for 10 minutes to wait for another ball. It doesn't happen in football like that. You have to be active. You have to be alert each and every time. So what happens? It keeps your heart rate going and keeps your fitness level high. So in that way, I think football is a very good sport to keep yourself fit. If you don't want to pursue your career, but if you want to be fit, play football. That will be my advice.
Sir, one more question from Himzurman, sir.
Yes.
Can our school or colleges boys will get place in Chennai FC? What are the procedures to enter the team?
It is 100% possible. See, Chennai FC is open to everybody. Well, the only criteria is the talent. If you have the talent in you, if you have that, the passion, if you have the talent in you, 100% you will get into Chennai FC. See, selections are happening. We have a very open selection. You can come into the selections regarding the age group. You have to know, and when you land up in the selections, and if you show your talent, I think you are 100% you are there into the team. The only criteria to get into the Chennai FC is talent. If you have talent, if you show that you are the best, you will be in the team. So there is no second thought about it.
Sir, I am Jati, sir. I asked the second question, no, sir. Really,
Yeah.
sir, you forgot at that moment. Now I am forgot at that moment. I am.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Tell me, Javed.
Sorry, sir, because of I am again telling that moment.
What? Tell
You
me.
defeated in final. Astro, sir, you had it with that question.
Yeah. I know the question. What happened? You can't hear that. You didn't hear what I answered.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. You want me to tell again? I will tell you. No problem. See.
No, sir. That sorry for telling and sir,
No. சொல்லு தமிழ்ல
Sir,
சொல்லு.
asking
தமிழ்ல
sorry,
சொல்லு.
sir.
sir,
தமிழ்ல.
உங்களை ஞாபகப்படுத்திட்டோம் அந்த மூமெண்ட்ட.
இல்ல தம்பி, நீ கரெக்டா கேட்ட. அத நம்ம ஞாபகப்படுத்தினே இருந்தாதான் அதை ஜெயிக்க முடியும் அடுத்த வாட்டி. அத மறந்துட்டோம்னு வச்சுக்கோ, திரும்பி அடுத்த வாட்டி ஜெயிக்க மாட்டோம். நீ கரெக்டா கேட்ட. இது நல்ல கொஸ்டின். நீ கேட்டது தப்பே கிடையாது. The question you asked was really very good question. Understand? Well done.
Yes, sir.
Syed, next
Thank you,
question.
So
Syed.
what was the struggle for your struggle in your life, sir, to enter it?
Struggle in what? In what way you are asking?
Sir, to enter into football team. Any struggles?
I think I have answered that.
No, sir. Any struggles?
Yeah, there were a lot of struggles. Like, see, as a player, I had a lot of struggles. Like, there were a lot of good coaches coming in my career. There were a lot of bad coaches coming in my career. Some tried to build my career. Some tried to spoil my career. These things, I think, all the players will face everywhere in the world. So I think that taught me. I think those things taught me like how to be a good player and how to be a good coach. What we should do and what we should not do. See, I have experienced that as a player. So I think those things I'm trying to get into my coaching, and I'm trying to see that I don't do the same mistakes what my coaches who have done before to me. So there were a lot of hindrances coming. There were a lot of problems. in my career. If I start saying that, I think it will not. This one day will not be enough for me to tell you. But really, I have faced many problems to come to this level. By Allah's grace, I think He has been along with me for every moment. I thank Allah for considering me to play for the country. Like, yeah, I think it's a miracle. If I start telling my story, it will be a big one. So I think we should have one more day for that.
Sir, how do you train your team before every match?
Say, like, it's not one day process. When it's a, like, what we do is we see the opponent, what they do, where they are strong, where they are weak, and regarding that we build some exercises, how to defeat them, how to penetrate into their defense, what sort of weakness they have in their defense, and in their attack, if they are strong, where they are strong, what I should do with my defense, what I should tell my defense. Those things we keep working every day till normally what happens, like, you have 5-6 days before the other match. So those 5-6 days we divide into 3 days working on the opponents, and one day we work for our team what they should do for the next day. And one day before the match we don't do much. What we do is we do the last session very lightly, because the legs should be fresh, the body should be fresh for the next day to go and play. If I try to give a hard practice before the match day, then they cannot play the next day. They will, and I think some coaches do that, and they get bad results. So you have to be careful in how you carry your session. That is planning. That if you don't plan yourself, and it becomes very difficult. So one day before, what we do is we reduce the session to very, very minimum level. Only we teach them. Lot of talking goes on. Tell them what to do, what we have done the last other 3 days, what they have to go and perform the next day, how to tackle that team, where we lie strong, what is our strength, what is our weakness, how to tackle them. All those things we tell them before the match day.
Any adventure event of yours?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes?
Any adventure event of your life?
Yeah, life itself is adventurous. Like, I really never thought that when my parents put us into football of sports, the main was to settle down in football. They never thought that one of their child will represent the country and play for the country and score goals for the country. That was not at all expected in my family. My both uncle and my father were like state players. For them, state was very big. Playing for state itself was very big. But once I represented for the country, that was a big day in my family. Like, they all rejoiced. They all thanked Allah on that day. And that was the most important day for us in our life. And going into the national team was really adventurous. Like, what happened, like, I was very young. I was 19 years, and there was a foreign coach who came to pick the Indian team, and he liked me, he took me. And there were all senior players in my team, but in my position there were 2 players. Like, and it was very, very difficult for me to surpass them. But how I made it to the Indian team by keeping those 2 people, I again thank Allah for that, because in the last minute there was one guy that became really adventurous for me. I never thought that I could have made for the national team at the age of 19, but one player got injured. So what happened, the coach had faith in me and he took me. And it was a real surprise for me and my family. And that was the real situation where we felt that it was, and my family thought that for them it was really adventurous for them that their son could ever play for the country.
So what makes a good match winning?
See, a good match, winning is different from playing a good match. You can play a good match, but you can lose. you can see, you would have seen Premier League football, like Man City playing against um, one side. I saw that it was a very low ranked team in Premier League. They were playing. They played very good football, Man City, but they kept on missing chances. The one chance the opponent got, and they scored. So there is a difference between playing a good match and winning. But to play a good match and win, that is the most satisfying experience. How to play and win? If you are asking that question, how to play good football and win, that whatever you do in your practice sessions, for me a good match is that whatever I don't teach, if they go and play that thing and they win it, then there is no part of mine that I have done for the team, and I feel that I am no part into this win. If a coach has to feel that he is also part of that winning of the game they have played, then it is like what you have said. Have they implemented that? Even if you would have said 100 things, but if they would have implemented even 20 out of 30 out of that, then I think that you have played a very good part into their win. So the things we do before the match, the practice sessions we do before the match, if they can carry over that same into the match, and with that, if they can win, and that will be the most satisfying thing for a coach.
Shabir sir, we started late, and so we are planning to finish it at 8:30. Is it fine for you, sir?
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Shabir sir, and just coming to this point of due to the pandemic, everyone are at home. And have you already been continuing some kind of online training sessions for your students?
See, it's we have been like what happened, like drills we have been showing, drills like from the videos and other things we have been. But I think what the most important is that these boys they know what they have to, like our boys in our academy. What we do is we have a video session and we tell them what they have been. We remind them of what they have been doing with us, and tell them to keep continuing it. That is what happens. I think you are asking for the videos, is it, sir?
Yes, sir. Video, direct live video sessions, like how every studies of school has become online. Why not sports also become online?
Yeah, it can be done. But it's the only thing is they should have been part of some academy. It is very difficult for them to learn things from a video. Because it is like you have to show them on the field and show them what they have to do. If they go and do the same thing on the field wrongly, then that doesn't do well. Like, so they should have been playing some part of football with some academy. Then I think doing those videos will be more useful.
Okay, a bit experienced can do it. Yeah.
Yes. Bit experienced people can do that.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Inshallah. Jazakallah for coming, inshallah. And can you tell us something about your t-shirt, sir?
Sir, this is Chennai FC t-shirt given by Chennai. This is what we wear during our practice days, and this is what we wear during our match period. You would have seen on the television. We used to wear this. Okay. And that is what I'm wearing now today. I think it's always honor wearing this.
Yeah, mashallah. Sir, inshallah, we will conclude the session. And before that, we can have a maximum of a couple of questions more left. So Tayyab can finish off with a couple of questions and go ahead to the end of the session.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Sir, what was your child ambition to become in future?
Yeah, I didn't get your question. Please, again.
Your child ambition when you were childhood.
See, my child ambition was like my father used to take me to the field, and he used to take me to the matches to watch. And what I watched there was like whenever the goal is scored, whenever something is done well, you can see the crowd chanting, you can see the crowd clapping and hailing that player. And what happened in us is that I should also do this. Like those players who used to play, I don't remember them, but they were our role models. They were our role models because they created the picture on us. And what we thought is somebody has to clap us also like that. Whenever we used to go to matches, whenever we used to play football, we never played for money, we never played for fame, we never played for any big thing. Like we played just for the people around there to praise us, to say that, oh, this guy is a good player. If somebody say that, then we felt that we have achieved everything. Well, that is why we played football, and from there gradually everything grew and it became big. But our real ambition as a child, if you ask, it was only the people, around who saying their words were very important for us.
What made you a good coach, sir?
So you think that I'm a good coach? I have to improve a lot and be as a coach. So I still don't say me. I never tell to me as a good coach, like we have to work so much. Football is C when it comes to learning, and we are a drop of it. So I have to keep working on it, keep learning on it, and it's many more things to be done. Like for me, the most important thing is like being a coach. That for me, the most important thing is how you help a player. For me, if you ask, you like to win, you like to lose. For me, those things are secondary. If you ask me one thing, for me, the most important thing is how I develop a player. From out of 30 players, even for one, I can do something good. From there, he can take up his career and he build up his career. Then I am done. Then my work is done. So that is what I want. I want my important philosophy for me is that how I encourage the player, how I encourage that player to become good, from being zero to becoming number 5, number 6, number 7. That will be my main task. For me, the winning and losing will come secondary, but the development of the player will come first. That is my philosophy of coaching.
Thank you so much, Tayyab. Any last question? Any important question you have left out, Tayyab?
Sir, only last question.
Okay.
Yes.
Any state player came national player in your team?
In which team? Chennai FC?
Yeah, football team.
Yeah, football team is which team? Like Chennai FC team, you are asking how many players are playing for the national team or the state team?
Who played with you, sir?
Who played with me?
Yes.
If you take state players, there were a lot of state players whom I played again, whom played with. But playing for the country, there were very limited players. I think if you take how many players played for the country, then I will say it is only 2 or 3. Because from representing for the national team from Tamil Nadu was very difficult. Because Calcutta was the hub of football. Then comes Kerala, and then comes Goa, and then Maharashtra. These were the places where the football players used to represent for the country because the lot of talent was there. But from Tamil Nadu, it was always difficult. But by Allah's grace, I made it at the age of 19. That was a miracle. And I kept on going for past 10 years after that. And by Allah's grace, it was a very good career for me. And along with me, there were 1 or 2 players who played for the country, and but they never played for a long time. Like they played for 1 year, and then they were off, and again they came for 1 tournament, they were off, and that is what happened. But by Allah's grace, I continued for around 9 to 10 years.
Okay, Tayyab, thank you so much. Sabir
Yes.
sir, we will end with my thoughts is as a sports person, everyone has aggression, right?
Yes.
Virat Kohli is the most aggressive player.
Yeah.
But when seeing you, sir, you are such a humble personality with such a soft person, and mashallah, it's really so nice to understand. We normally think sports is really aggressive. The personality also will be very aggressive. That's what we think.
Sir, what I want to say is that when you are on the field, you have to be aggressive. Like if you'd have seen me on the field, you would have not spoken like this. You could have seen because I have to be aggressive on the field. I cannot even because I had my brother who used to play against me, but I never ever thought that he's my brother on the field. He used to curse me that when I used to play against me, he used to curse me before I go for the match. Now today I have to face you and you will never spare me. That was the thing, like, and that is what is it's sports is all about. I think Virat Kohli also will be a very nice person if you if you talk to him on the front. But I think on the field we have to be aggressive to achieve results.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. And boys, I'd like to introduce you. Shabir sir is such a beautiful personality, mashallah. Very soft, very humble, very kind. And most important for all, what he has achieved is only because of his father. That the kind of respect he gave to his father, his parents. He listened to them whatever they told. So that is a perfect example for us. Please follow your parents, and you will succeed. Alhamdulillah. So last
Inshallah, inshallah.
lines from you, Shabir sir, for the students.
Yeah, it was a very good session. See, whenever I speak about sports, wherever they speak about sports, I think I feel really comfortable and wonderful because for me this is a subject which I like, and you people really touched. And there was one boy who really asked some really important questions to me. I think thanks to him also, thanks to all of you. Because these two, I don't know how much of time passed from we talking. I never felt that it has become 8:30 now. So I thank you for this 1.5 hour which you gave me. Like those questions were really important. I started remembering my old days and my younger days came back to me in my mind. So once again, I thank sir to you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you,
I think
sir.
this is the second time you are giving us this opportunity to talk to this.
Inshallah, if I get
So-
more schools, I will surely invite you, sir.
Yeah. Hope so, sir. Hope so. So, thanks, children. Have a nice, wonderful day. As sir said, respect your parents, respect your work, whatever you are. Let it be, you may be a football player, you may be a cricket player, or you may be any player. Respect whatever you do and try to show the whole focus on it. Try to work hard, and Allah will be with you. Allah only will be with those who work hard, who focus, and who really believe in their work as well as in Allah. I think these are the things which are going to carry you forward. I know you all your children are wonderful. You are into this world for with some reason or with some meaning. So really you will achieve some or other thing in your life. But these are the main things. As your sir said, respect your parents, and as I said, you follow your work, focus your work, concentrate, be dedicated to it, and don't be like here and there. Be focused, be dedicated, and surely in life you will achieve it, which has happened to me in my life. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Yes, Tayyib.
Thank you, sir.
Let's finish with the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for spending your time with us. Now it's time for out of time.
Rafiuddin Umair.
Yes, Rafiuddin Umair.
Good evening to our honorable chief guest, Mr. Syed Sabir Pasha, sir, principal, vice principal, teachers, my dear friends, and everyone who participated in this session. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks speech and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this session a successful one. Myself, Muhammad Rafiuddin, on behalf of KH Matriculation Boys Higher Secondary School, first of all, I would like to thank Almighty Allah for making today's session a successful one. On behalf of my school, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Syed Sabir Pasha, spend his valuable time in spite of his busy schedule. I also extend thanks to all the teachers. They are backbone of this session. Without their support, the session couldn't be a successful one. I would like to thank the people who worked behind this to make this success one. Finally, I would like to thank the students, participants, and the other members. Last but not the least, I once again thank all of you, those who present in this session. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Shabir sir, mashallah, the back-end team has done a lot of work behind this since 1 week, headed by Adam Basha sir, the English team. Mashallah, we would like to congratulate them and their hard work. And the boys have done, the hero has been Tayyab Rabbani, mashallah, for doing this was. Everyone are doing for the first time in their life, in their career. So all the best, boys. Thank you so much.
Keep it up and keep this good work going.
Jazakallah khair. Allah Hafiz.
Jazakallah khair. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
No.